All right, so throughout her political career, Nikki Haley touted her anti-abortion stance, calling herself very pro-life and passing a 20-week abortion ban when she was the governor of South Carolina. But here's the thing. When she announced her candidacy for president this week, there wasn't a single mention of abortion or her pro-life position. And there is good reason why. The overturning of Roe versus Wade is wildly unpopular in this country. In fact, nearly 2/3 of Americans disapproved of the Supreme Court decision. This according to a Kaiser Family Foundation poll taken last summer. And now that Republicans have achieved that anti-abortion goal, they don't want to touch it. They don't want to have anything to do with it. And so when Nikki Haley went on the Today Show and Craig Melvin asked her for her position on a national abortion ban, you can see how much she did not want to answer that question.
Let's talk about abortion for a moment. The senior senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, has proposed a federal ban on abortion. Would you sign that?
We need consensus on this. Our goal
consensus on abortion. Would you support a federal ban?
I think not a full-out federal ban, because I don't think that's been put on the table. I think what Lindsey Graham has put on the table is 15 weeks. And I think if we're looking at 15 weeks, what we need to understand is we are not okay with abortion up until the time of birth. And so we should at least decide, when is it okay?
Claire McCaskill is a former two-term Democratic senator from Missouri, and Michael Steele is the former chair of the Republican National Committee. They both join me now. It's great to have both of you with us. Michael, the abortion issue backfired big time on Republicans last year. And it's an issue where they are in the minority of in this country. 72% of independents disapprove of Roe's overturning. If she can't answer this question and have a clear-cut position on it now, how is she and other Republicans going to contend with this in a general election?
They're not, because it has not been thought through. It is the ramifications of any level of ban on abortion after 50 years of this right being embedded in not just the culture, but the health care of our country. You don't account for that. There's no accounting for that, let alone, answering the question, what happens when the baby is born? And now you have, women in poverty being forced to have children, et cetera. So, the side skirt on that question from Craig was, Lindsey Graham is, talking about, ban right up to the birth of the baby. Well, what about a federal ban at 15 weeks? What about a federal ban at 26 weeks? What about a federal ban? Because that's the piece here that the Republicans for 50 years said they did not want to go to, because they believe the states should rightly make that decision, right?
Yeah, she dodged the question. I think, to your point, she misunderstood it. It's not about a timeline. It's about the idea of a federal ban.
No, it wasn't misunderstood. It was deliberately avoided.
Yes,
so the question, that question, among many questions, are going to be put in front of these candidates, and then they have to top it all off with the cherry about Donald Trump.
Yeah. Claire, what do Democrats do here? Because there was a little criticism that the issue of abortion, which was such an animating force for people in this country in the midterms, did not take up but a small portion of the president's State of the Union address. Do you think in hindsight that was a mistake? How forceful should he be heading into the election on this issue?
Oh, I think voters are going to know very clearly by the time November of 2024 rolls around which party is going to protect women who have been raped and women who have been assaulted, victims of incest. It's going to be very clear. The Republicans have laid down a marker, and they cannot abandon that. And you know what I was thinking when I watched this rollout? She said, I'm not a politician, and I'm not from Washington, and I'm going to clean out the swamp, or whatever she said, posing as a crocodile. It was so political. It was so conventional. Every phrase she uses was poll tested. You know how you can tell a politician? One that won't answer the question. She wouldn't answer Sean Hannity about any policy differences she had with Trump. She wouldn't answer Craig Melvin about whether or not she supported a federal ban on abortion. Every phrase she uses has been poll tested. This is a conventional politician running for president in a conventional way. And I got news for you. I don't think that works in today's Republican Party.